Good morning, world. This is 𝐿𝐴𝐴 here with your weekly success stories show. This is a beautiful show that normally we have our CEO, Maria Rene, with me, but she's taking care of her baby today, so she's not going to be here. A lot of exciting things coming up. We're still on our road show. We were obviously in London. Wonderful event, very exciting. And we went to our event here with our partners in Las Vegas. Big business event in Las Vegas, a convention. It was another successful event. And we're now looking at Dallas, I believe in about a week and a half. And then we go to Atlanta in December. And we're organizing our global business convention, which is going to be our annual event for the Global Trade Chamber, and we're planning this in Puerto Rico. So if you love to see great tropical climate, beautiful beaches, great rum, and a lot of exciting things, you have to join us in Puerto Rico early in the year for our annual Global Trade Chamber Convention. So stay tuned. We're organizing that now. And we're planning our annual women convention like we did in London, possibly in the Philippines or in India next September. So we're going to keep you posted. That will be a mega event. We're still finalizing the location. And every month we have a different event somewhere in the country or the world. So we're not sitting still. We're like a rolling stone that gathers no moss. So we're very happy that it's Friday here in the United States. Every week we feature and get to know somebody very special on a personal basis, because one thing is what you see in all the marketing and promotion. The other thing is to get to know that person on a personal basis, so you learn from their experience, from their success, from their challenges, and help all of us be better and grow from their experiences and learn. So today is no exception. We have a very special, amazing, dynamic lady that today she happens to be in Lebanon. She is a multi-award winning filmmaker, journalist, and entrepreneur. She started her career as a journalist working with international news organizations, including News Corp, The Times, and Channel 4 News. Now she has built two successful companies, GDR Media Group, a marketing agency in Australia, and Dream Creations International, film production company in Lebanon that is changing the world's view of Lebanon. Let's bring on the stage Miss Daizy. Welcome,
Hey,
Daizy, from beautiful Lebanon. We gotta hurry before dark.
that's right. The sun is setting over Beirut, so
That's beautiful.
we'll
How are
hopefully
you?
see sunset. I'm very good, thank you. Despite the economic crisis, which there really is here, I'm still smiling, and I'm so happy to see you again, Al. Had a wonderful time with you and Maria and the whole team in London. It was a very beautiful event and met some extraordinary women. I'm very
Yes.
privileged and honored to have been there with you all. Thank you.
Well, the event is really about empowering, recognizing incredible women from around the globe, and Daizy just happens to be one of them. she, she is a leader, a change maker, and a person that's impacting the world. She was a recipient of the 100 Successful Women Awards in London, England. And congratulations, Miss Daizy. Wow,
Thank
look at that beautiful post. That must be Daizy. She
you.
is amazing. And
Thank
also, she was one of the presenters at the conferences in London. So you're doing great things, Daizy. Many people are not aware of what's going on in Lebanon, nor are they aware of how important your documentary is to the people and the lives in Lebanon to share with the world. So tell us a little bit about how you got into this filmmaking business.
It was really an extension of my journalism. So, as a journalist in news and print media, I moved into television when I was working in London. And then from that, made my first documentary back in the 90s. And I really felt films was the best way to express myself because I was very visual. And I also believed it's the best way for you to reach the largest number of people because people find films less difficult to sit and watch and understand a story. And so, about 7 years ago when I started making this film, it was almost, just the only way I thought about doing it was to make a film to tell, to update the world on the reality of Lebanon because, we don't often, it doesn't often reach us what's actually going on in a country. No doubt every country suffers the same thing. The media focuses on certain aspects which are, newsy, but they don't dive deeply into it. And that's what I wanted to do with this film because I didn't think the real story was getting out there and I felt I had to dig deep.
Yeah, amazing. I saw your poster with I don't know how many awards that film has received. Tell us how many you have now because I couldn't count them all.
It's actually just picked up its 20th award last week from the Toronto Independent Film Festival and been invited. It's been officially selected to 33 festivals around the world and nominated for 43 categories and awards. So we kicked off the first award we ever won was in Cannes last year at the Cannes Film Festival with the Better World Foundation Movie That Matters Award. And that was the most extraordinarily uplifting and exciting thing that could have ever happened to the film because the story got recognized as something that mattered and something that the world should see. And that is the greatest compliment. And now others are saying from all over the world, various countries, multiple countries are seeing and assessing the human value and the newsworthiness of this story for their people as well. Lebanon's a tragic story. It's a Shakespearean tragedy,
and it's still a tragic story, right?
It's getting worse, and I'm living through it now, having moved here in April in order to be able to delve deeper into it and be able to cover more stories and produce content out for the outside world that is very impartial, very factual, very truthful, because more people need to know what's going on. And yes, the economic crisis is worsening. Just to give you some statistics, the average salary is now $25 a month, whereas average to buy 20 liters of petrol costs you $70, and 20 liters doesn't fill a tank. To pay for your electricity, and I'm paying for my electricity, it costs $150 a month. When you're on a salary of $25, what does that do for you? People are only surviving because they're getting together as families, pooling their money, moving in with each other, and relying on their expats around the world to send them money. The government here is really failing in its duty to look after its citizens on every single level.
That's horrible. I'm so sorry to hear that. I think that Cannes is an accomplishment, a huge accomplishment. That's one of the top places to showcase a film. So the fact that you already were in Cannes, that's a huge accomplishment. So congratulations on that.
Thank you, Al.
Massive. The next thing is that what you're doing, not only is it helping your country, but I guarantee you it will inspire other people in other countries to create films like yours to showcase and highlight the terrible situation in many of the countries around the globe. So you're like a Joan of Arc. You're going to inspire a lot of ladies because I think that's not it's a man-dominated field, correct?
Yes. very, very male dominated, but extraordinary filmmakers, male and female. And, you know, I'm inspired by many filmmakers, male and female. And I want to mention one film, which The Edge of Democracy, which is about Brazil. And it was nominated at the Academy Awards a few years ago. Really looking deep into the Brazilian situation. There are many filmmakers, and I thank you for putting me in that category. We need to inspire each other to tell our stories. And you're right. I hope people in other countries who are also going through terrible crises, it's not just Lebanon, you know, human rights and oppression and authoritarianism is becoming actually more common around the world. And you look at China, you look at Hong Kong, even you know, in Chile, in Spain, in so many countries around the world, we've had people rising against the regime because they don't feel that their rights are being considered and valued.
I think what has changed everything that you're talking about is the internet, because now in seconds you can be aware of something that's happening anywhere in the world. This has never happened in history before. And also it's a lot harder to censor the internet than it is to censor news or TV. So we're a unique time in history where we actually have the ability to share information that would never be shared before.
You're absolutely right. And everyone can be a journalist. Everyone is a filmmaker. These phones are the gift back to the people to show their truth. And what we see in Iran with the women and this revolution against the rise of the women, I'm so touched by that. We're seeing amazing footage out of Iran that we would never see. And you're right. The technology that's available to us around the world has made it much easier for us to learn the truth from each other.
And also the fact that COVID forced us to greatly advance communication online. Because people were stuck in their homes for 2 years. So all these new tools, like the one we're using now, were not even available then.
Yes.
So now we have to take some of the positive things that are going on around the world as well and share them with people so they're inspired. But there's a lot of exciting things that we see, like you said, especially with women in many countries that they are oppressed. And now they can communicate what's going on, and they are responding. And joining forces through organizations like the 100 Successful Women, where women are communicating every day and sharing information and tools and ways that they can overcome some of these things. They've always been there, but now it's all out in the open. It's going to be much faster, the response. I'm very excited about that.
True. And one thing I learned listening to quite a few of the speakers at 100 Successful Women in Business was about building the tribe and learning who our tribe is. You know, it doesn't only have to be women, but people who are like-minded, who believe, who have the same values. And I was inspired by so many women at 100 Successful Women in Business, and they really made me feel like, you know, we're not alone, and we never are, but we have to find our tribe. We have to find our people. And that was the gift that Global Trade Chamber gave me in London. And I'm, you know, very grateful for that. Honestly, there was just extraordinary women and that community that we have built, and we just need to keep growing it, but maintaining our values, maintaining our ethics, and staying true to our purpose. That's the most important thing.
No compromise. We stay true to our vision and our mission, and that's the only way we're going to operate. And that's why we're going to keep growing. We're developing a huge new platform right now as we speak to connect more women. You're going to be invited to be a part of that as well. So that's under development right now.
Wonderful.
It's just amazing things that we're creating to connect more women into more activities. It's going to have so many features, but as soon as it's available, as you know, we also have the 100 Successful Women success stories, where we actually have ladies that have got their own shows on our station on Roku. So now women are actually creating their own shows every week on our TV station. So we're very
Fantastic.
excited about that.
Fantastic.
And the magazine, as you know, the Successful Women magazine, that you were featured, I believe, on
Yeah.
that.
Thank
So
you.
we're doing a lot, and it's going to keep growing. But your voice helps us to reach more women, so we can connect more women. And you said it's a tribe. And one thing that I really, I think that you hit it right on the head, is that you have to find your tribe, because different women have different needs or challenges or opportunities, and they don't always click with other women, and they don't have enough in common. But creating individual women that, for example, they're in education, they're in IT, in film, those groups themselves are very powerful to the whole organization. So that's very important what you said. I know that as a woman in Lebanon, you had a few challenges.
Mhm.
So tell us about a couple of the challenges that you face as a filmmaker in general, not just in Lebanon.
Yeah, well, the biggest challenge every filmmaker has is raising funds initially for their project, and I was in a hurry to get mine going, and also, um, you know, I needed to retain a certain amount of independence, but I was able to raise funds, but luckily, because thank the Lord, I had spent 20 years building my business in Australia, my marketing agency, and I had made it successful. I was able to draw on my own funds, and allowed me to retain my impartiality and my independence to begin this film. And that's really important, not to only become successful as a business person and accumulate money and accumulate assets and accumulate materialism, but use your money for something that makes a difference in the world too. And that's what I decided I wanted to do with this, because it needed to be done. And I thank the Lord, I have a great team in Australia, and they're still running the business, and it's going well. So knock on wood. It allows me to be here. And we're actually going to be opening an office for the business in Lebanon now too. So we're expanding to have a branch of GDR in Beirut, because there's tremendous talent here, but they have no opportunities and no jobs because the country is in economic crisis. And their salaries are so low that it's very cost effective for me to give them what we consider a cheap salary, but what they consider is a great salary, and use their talent, use their skill, and be able to support their family. So I thought about this, and I thought it was a very good opportunity. We could go to the Philippines to hire talent, or India to expand our team, but I said, why not Lebanon? Why not help the people here? Because the World Bank described Lebanon as an epic economic crisis, which means no other country in history has gone through or is going through what Lebanon's going through. 82% poverty. So that was one of I went into a bit of detail on Lebanon, but and the other story, the other challenges as filmmaker we have is to be able, as a documentary filmmaker, be able to find the story in the first place. Because as a documentary maker, you're coming with an idea, but you don't know until you do your interviews and the people start telling you what the real story is. So that unraveled for me. It took 4 to 5 years to unravel, but so did Lebanon. So I followed the story. Then you have, team, normal business stuff. Do I have the right crew, managing budgets, all that sort of stuff that is a business sort of issue related to any other business. But films, as everyone would know, especially Americans, lighting, sets, location, all that kind of stuff. It's a normal film challenges. But as a woman, I didn't find any issues related to me being a woman. I had a reputation as a journalist and a previous filmmaker, so they accepted my credentials, and I wasn't confronted, although I did obviously have to have men with me to support me on the ground here, and they were part of my crew. But I've never felt unsafe here.
Good.
And that's probably surprising for people to hear. But I've never felt threatened. Even though, interestingly, I was held by Hezbollah for about 13 hours.
No way.
Yeah, yeah, but not because of their fault, but because one of my crew, who was an Australian DOP cinematographer, we were filming in their area, and he didn't happen to have any ID on him. He didn't carry any ID, and they said, "We need you to come back to make sure you're all legit." And
Wow.
because he didn't have any ID, they couldn't verify, but it took 13 hours to get out of there. And they treated us very nicely, although people...
Good.
I have to tell the honest truth that they were very nice. They ordered us dinner and whatever, but they said, we have to go through the process to validate this man because we don't know who he is. He's saying something, but, and it took, a process. But anyway, so...
That's an experience.
It was, actually. It was. I mean, it's a longer story where it does get scary at about midnight.
Wow.
But I don't think we've got time to go through it. But if I told
That's
you the
another
whole
movie.
story...
That's another documentary.
Yeah. But in reality, it's a beautiful country. It's a tiny country, Lebanon. I think someone compared it to Wisconsin in America, but it's 10,452 square kilometers. But it's long and it's compact and it's got beautiful mountains. It's got the whole coastline is all Mediterranean.
Wow.
It's got water, it's got waterfalls, it's got forests, it's got cedars. And the nature is just divine. But unfortunately, it's been left, for decades now. It's got Roman ruins dating back to, 2,000 years, Phoenician ruins that are 4,000 years. I love history. So to me, that's very appealing. A lot of stuff that you just don't realize because we don't hear those stories. So you'll have to come and visit me here, Al, you and Maria. We'll have an event in Beirut.
That would be fantastic. So there is some tourism?
Oh, definitely. Your dollar goes so far. $1 at the moment it makes 40,000 Lebanese pound because the currency has crashed. So 40,000 Lebanese pound. I'll tell you, lunch today cost me 600,000 for two of us with some drinks. Full meza, lots of so 600,000 Lebanese pound is like $15, and you're sitting in a really lovely restaurant overlooking the Mediterranean, having drinks, having beautiful food, and it goes a long way. So it's great.
It's a good time to visit.
It's a great time to visit.
You
would actually be helping the people.
Yes,
you would actually
of course.
be helping the people. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think from what I've seen, when I met you and all the things that you're doing and how you say that everything's not about what you're doing business-wise, but what impact you're having in the community. That is really why we're here. We talk a lot about legacy, and you already have, in some way, created a legacy because you're inspiring and motivating other people. And I saw that through your daughter that I met. What a sweetheart. She is amazing. And she obviously has been extremely inspired by you and what you've done. And you already started your legacy through your daughter and other people that you touch every day. So legacy, I think it's a big part of your mission. I think that's awesome.
Thank you. I often say this to people because they say to me, especially when I'm interviewed in Lebanon, why are you here? Why have you given up your life? You could be sitting on a beach anywhere in the world doing whatever you want. And I said, yeah, well, how long would that stay interesting for? And I also say to them, you know, the thing where my head goes is when I'm on my deathbed thinking, you know, what did I do with my life? Would I be happy that I grew this humongous marketing agency or built this, build big companies and have all this money and left my children millions and millions of dollars? And I said, that would be nice, but I wouldn't feel like I've done something important.
Exactly.
And this mission for Lebanon is far more valuable,
But
and
that's
gives me
gonna
great heart.
that's gonna be around forever. What you have done for
Thank
Lebanon, it's always going to be remembered, and they're going to build great monuments in your name.
I don't need monuments, darling. I just want the country to change. I just want the people to wake up and to
Good.
feel courage, the courage to change.
I think that's a fantastic mission. I think you've done a phenomenal job in a short period of time because it's relatively short since you were. When did you get your cons recognition?
July 2021, so a year and a bit. Yeah, year and a
Who does
half.
that? Who gets 20 awards in a year? That's just, I don't know how you do it, but you sure.
It's God. He's been guiding me. I would never have decided to do this except I felt called to do it. I honestly, that's my truth.
I
Yeah.
think it's going to be an exciting future for you and for your company and for the films that you're going to create from now, because it's just the beginning, obviously. What you've done is going to touch lives of many, and then people are going to start inviting you to other countries to document all the challenges in those countries. That's what I see in your future.
That has happened already.
So it's going to keep going. So we appreciate you being part of the 100 Successful Women Network, and we congratulate you and thank you for the incredible service you are to the community and all the people around the world that you're touching. And I can't wait to continue to develop great things with you and spread the word about the 100 Successful Women Around the Globe network through your network.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Al, and to Maria, and to the whole Global Trade Chamber Group, the 100 Successful Women in Business. I honestly am very humbled and very grateful for all that you've done for me and for giving me a platform to tell my story to more people. Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon.
Oh, you will. We'll invite you to everything with you, and you're always welcome to join us.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank
you have a wonderful day. Say hello, daughter, and many blessings to you.
Thank you, Al. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. This was a fabulous show. We learned, we're inspired, and we can see the power of film and videos to impact and change the world. So use that in your business to touch lives. Film. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.